why would a person choose one type of ihram over the other? All of them lead to a valid Hajj, but there are certain benefits that are in some types of ihram and some ways of performing Hajj versus others that each person will find different and will be of more utility to some people versus others. Most pilgrims will find it to be easiest to perform tamattu', which is to come into the sacred lands from outside of the miqat with an ihram of umrah, to perform the umrah and to be released from ihram and wait outside of the state of ihram, which is very difficult to keep from everyone, until they don the ihram again right before heading to Mina and preparing for the manasik, for the rituals of the Hajj from the 8th of Dhul Hijjah through the 13th. Um, that's the benefit of performing tamattu', and it's a great benefit. The benefit is greater the longer you intend on staying in Makkah Mukarramah after your arrival, but before the days of the manasik. The benefit of ifrad is that a person has less to do on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah. That their tawaf al ifada, once they complete it and they read the two rak'ahs of that tawaf, then they will have completed all of the conditions of their ihram. They don't have to do sa'i on top of that on a day in which the mas'a will be very crowded, and it's another about 3.5 miles worth of walking for a person. Another benefit of ifrad is that ifrad doesn't mandate or obligate a hadi. A person who does ifrad is not obligated to give a sacrifice in order to have a valid hajj. And so on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, it's a sunnah, a rigorously emphasized sunnah to put four things in order. The stoning of the Jamratul Aqaba, the sacrifice of one's sacrifices, the hadaya that a person has for Hajj, and then thereafter the halq, the minor release from ihram by shaving one's head or cutting the hair for the ladies, and then the fourth being the tawaf al ifada. That out of those four things, one of them is now no longer something that's mandated. So to keep order on that day is easier, and there's less to do. But the trade-off, on the other hand, is that a person will have to stay in ihram for their entire stay in Makkah Mukarramah until the manasik, and that's difficult for some people. And then qiran, which is to take the ihram of combining the rituals of both Hajj and Umrah in the same ihram. The benefit of that is a person performs both Hajj and Umrah in the same ihram, and so the reward of both of those deeds are kind of conglomerated together. But the difficulty is that a person has to stay in ihram throughout the entire process, and on top of that, the person is also has to do all of those things on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, doing the tawaf with the sa'i, and because they have to slaughter in order to observe the sunnah of doing those four things in order that a person does on that very busy day, active day of Hajj, of the Yom al-Nahr, the 10th of the Hijjah, that a person has to keep all of those strictures. And so people find it very difficult and onerous to do that. And so I don't recommend anyone do Qiran, except for those people who know that they have the stamina in order to keep its due reverence and to uphold its rights, because Hajj can be a very difficult and a very tiring venture for people, and they may find themselves stuck committing to do things that they cannot perform properly. Otherwise, all three of them, inshallah, we pray for them to be accepted by people, and all of them make sense to people in some context or another. For a person to make umrah in a year is a sunnah mu'akkada, and so the person who makes ifrad, who hasn't made umrah in that year yet, it's rigorously emphasized sunnah for them that if they made ifrad and they haven't made umrah yet in that year, then they should, after the Hajj is over, go out of the haram boundary of Makkah Mukarramah, take the ihram of umrah, and come back and perform an umrah as well. Obviously, the person who did qiran and who did tamattu' has already done a Hajj and an umrah in that year, so they wouldn't have to do that. And nor would the person who's doing ifrad who's already done umrah in that year. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from us all.